like it happened just yesterday. A vision to the eyes that I couldn't believe. Early sunrise, it was 5:03. A falcon on my balcony. Dark brown feathers and vicious talons. I figured it must have swooped down from the mountains. A blank stare and an open to speak. Everything was silent except for my heartbeat. Flooding complications of a busy work week. I rose from my bed and began to creep, dragging feet across the cold floor. I glanced out the window to the balcony. The falcon wasn't there no more. In its place, a single feather, a handwritten note, carefully folded. First my eyes, then my mind, reluctant to behold it. Eloquently scripted with cryptic inscriptions, a suicide note on a suicide mission. It's not what we find, it's what we search for. Lies between the passive and the forceful. You fear the unseen reduced to morsels. You think accessibility excludes mortals. It's not what we find, it's what we search for. Lies between the passive and the forceful. You fear the unseen reduced to morsels. You think accessibility excludes mortals. You think accessibility excludes mortals. I set out just as the fog set in. Jeans, hoodie, scarf around the chin. Cold as hell, I was the only thing moving in a world sitting still. Running through the fog, I'm thinking, oh God, I'm shit out of luck. I'm a sitting duck, am I just prey for a predator looking for a kill? I'm barely breathing, I'm wheezing, but I made it to the foothills. Fog, clinging to the pine-crested mountain, my spirit rebounded. I climbed it as if it was battle-tested ground when I heard the distinct sound of howling. I rose my eyes, to my surprise, a coyote 30 yards away. It was ominous but wise. It's not what you find, it's what you search for. Lies between the passive and the forceful. You fear the unseen reduced to morsels. You think accessibility excludes mortals. It's not what we find, it's what we search for. Lies between the passive and the forceful. You fear the unseen reduced to morsels. Think accessibility excludes mortals. It's not what we find, it's what we search for. Lies between the passive and the forceful. You fear the unseen reduced to morsels. You think accessibility excludes mortals. You think accessibility excludes mortals. Coyote is strong, stout with a long snout. Canines, I was petrified by the resolve in its eyes. It turned and ran, and I knew to follow. I followed all the way up and over a ridge. The fog so thick, who was I to kid? We came finally to the banks of a stream. Out the pages of Don Juan, surreal as a dream. The falcon was struggling, a snake in his talons. The snake like lightning striking. Overcome with shock, the coyote led me to a bow and arrow lying on a rock. Picked it up and I drew it slowly. With an exhale, I let it set sail. The arrow penetrated flesh without fail. I watched as the snake fell dead as a nail. I set the bow down and extended my arm. The falcon flew over and perched unalarmed. In his eyes, a message and a quote said that I myself am the author of the note, concerned with my own spiritual growth. I was sent here to rescue myself. The falcon told me he represents light. The coyote symbolized destiny. And now it's fulfilled, cause I killed the snake of darkness with the arrow of free will. Yo, it blew my mind. Destiny and free will were finally aligned. I woke suddenly as if from a dream. I opened my eyes, I was alone on the stream. It's not what we find, it's what we search for. Lies between the passive and the forceful. You fear the unseen reduced to morsels. You think accessibility excludes mortals. It's not what we find, it's what we search for. Lies between the passive and the forceful. Fear the unseen reduced to morsels. You think accessibility excludes mortals.